But another AFC team is dealing with real injuries with their situation. Joe Burrow uh, has I think they said a strain, right? Left calf strain in practice. The video is released, and the conspiracy theorists are out. Justin Herbert just got a monstrous contract, and Burrow hasn't gotten his extension yet. So with Herbert resetting the market, it seems like some people are saying he won't be back to the team until they get that new contract. It did seem a little suspicious how good that camera angle was. It immediately came out. You know how seriously, you got to think about the thinking behind the videos, and they just had someone perfectly set up there. He's clearly out in the clear, so making sure no teammates get blamed. You don't want anyone to get hate, and he just kind of hobbles, falls. Already has the sleeve. I'm not saying anything was done on purpose. I'm just saying it is kind of suspicious. But Rem, do you think he is going to try to use this as a bargaining chip? The Bengals, well, pretty much any NFL team is nothing without their quarterback. That's just how it is. And the Bengals are really in position to have another monstrous year. There's some real questions with Buffalo. There was that little weird Stephon Diggs thing, and then with Mahomes, will he have a wide receiver to actually throw to with Tony in and out? It's Mahomes. But beyond, Bengals have had their number most of the time until this last playoffs. They were the only team to beat Mahomes 3 times in a row. So, they are the Chiefs beaters. So, do you think Joe Burrow is gonna try to use the power to get the richest contract in NFL history?
I don't think Joe Burrow even needs leverage in this situation. He's Joe Burrow. Mahomes is obviously the number one quarterback in the league. I think Burrow is clearly the number two. He's the one guy who has gotten Mahomes' number. His impact, it's early on in the Burrow run. Been there for what, 3 seasons, but it's been 2 full seasons. He got hurt in his rookie year. 2 full seasons for Burrow. In the Super Bowl, his first, the conference championship, his next. Again, they're the one team that has gotten the better of the Chiefs for the most part. Didn't get them last year. So he doesn't need to do anything to prove that or to convince the Bengals to pay him. The Bengals are going to pay him. I think it's more, how does this fit with the rest of their guys? They have a lot of talent on this roster. A lot of free agents are coming up soon that they're going to need to take care of. So they're going to have to look about and figure out how they fit all this stuff into the salary cap, how they can keep around as much talent as possible. Can they keep the guys at the important positions that matter? If anything, this is going to be like just at least he doesn't have to be out there risking himself for further injury. He can sit out with this one. And from that standpoint, if he's wants security before he's on the field, like he can leverage it in that way, but he's not going to need to leverage anything in terms of getting the money. Like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to get the money from the Cincinnati Bengals. There's no question about that. But the conspiracy, like he may be trying to at least save himself and preserve himself from further injury. I think, Sam, are you just the tape doctor now? Reviewing the footage,
I
telling us
know.
what's going on? I think you're the tape doctor.
It's
First Draymond,
suspicious.
now Joe Burrow.
I know. It is suspicious. It is really suspicious. And, it'll be interesting. I'm kind of interested in how long the contract will be that they sign him with. Mahomes has a 10-year. And, it's another small town that doesn't really have, doesn't have another pro sports team. Kansas City has several, but, not nearly as popular as the Chiefs. And, you got someone like that, a huge personality who has shown winning. He hasn't won the Super Bowl, obviously, but he has, gone head to head with the best in the sport, being the kryptonite. And you have these young stars, and it's just, do you just lock him down? And it is interesting with those longer deals that you're able to backload them. I mean, if you're guaranteed the contract, you're able to push off those higher costs when the cap will be higher, and it'll be easier to eat the salary. And it'll be, I think that'd be a great deal for the team and for him. Now, the interesting thing is, this is the third training camp in a row where Joe Burrow has had to sit out due to medical issues. First year was with the MC. Yeah, I think it might have been a tear because he was gone the rest of the season. But there's definitely
Yeah.
some strain going on. And then he had to be out last year because of appendicitis. Had to get his appendix removed, which I can tell you from personal experience is something that just
Hmm.
you can't play around with that. When you got to get that done. It's not good effects if you try to ignore that. And then
You've
this
had the
year,
surgery?
yes, I have.
Huh.
It was definitely a last minute kind of thing, but it's definitely like if you let it in there, it can kind of like it'll explode, and then it'll
Okay.
release a lot of toxins, make your intestines like a lot more weaker, and you can't eat certain foods, and it's just downhill. But and then this year with the leg thing, Joe Burrow has shown a history of being injury prone. So that might be, the pushback on whether to give him a 10-year deal. Now, Mahomes has had some ankle issues, dings and some dings here and there, but the peaks that he's reached are just unmatched. So, it's do you if you're the Bengals, how many years are you putting on this contract? Because the longer you can put it, the easier it makes it to eat the cost. But at the same time, Joe Burrow has started to show some consistent injury stuff over these last couple of years. I mean, it's definitely a quandary that I thankfully don't have to actually deal with, but it's got to be tough in that Bengals front office.
If you're the Bengals front office, though, the team building just becomes way easier if you have your quarterback locked down for 10 years. Like that's the reason Mahomes did the contract was to commit to Kansas City to say, "Hey, I'm the guy," but to also give him that flexibility to know what they're working with from the long term. So from the front office standpoint, I think the long contract would actually be a good move. Again, even with the injury history, like his impact is almost unmatched outside of Mahomes for the start of his career. The two full seasons that Joe Burrow has put together and the playoff runs that he's put together, he is worth every penny, and he's one of the few quarterbacks that can be a Super Bowl, like carry a team to a Super Bowl level quarterback. So from a team building perspective, yes, I think committing the long dollar amount to him would be the right move. I think it's the other way around though. Like, should Joe Burrow take a long deal? Like, is that commitment good? Say,
Mm.
hey, just get the big bag all at once, take it all, or with his injury history, like he has the injury history, but he also came into the league a little bit older as well, too. He's already 26 years old. He's going to be 27 this year. So what? He'll be 28 before he plays that first year on that new contract. So if that's a 10-year deal, he'll be 38 before he hits free agency again. So with his injury history and age, do you think he would want to hit free agency for a second time, or lock it all down, get the long term deal, and just take the bag all at once?
Yeah, I think if you're him, you got to take the bag, and that's just due to the violent nature of football. You never know. The one hit, the certain week could just end your career or end make it seriously worse. So I think just because of the violent nature and because of his medical issues that he has shown consistently, I think you got to take that contract if it's given to you. You just take that guaranteed money. And, there are some arguments. Oh, could they get more later on? Well, they can restructure deals all the time. And
That's
so
true.
it happens all the time. So I think if you get that 10-year, deal, you're not really looking to go anywhere else. With the NFL, there isn't really, there is, as of late, there has been a lot more quarterback movement. But for the all-time players in their prime, they almost always stay with the same team. Aaron Rodgers, most of his prime, I mean, yes, he was back-to-back MVP the last couple of years, but most of his physical prime with the Packers. Tom Brady, almost, only like what 2-3 years outside of the Patriots. And then almost every other, all-time great, their whole prime is with one team. So, it's definitely with the quarterbacks, it's rare that they move to other teams while they're still good. And with the, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, with the options that they have on this team, it doesn't make sense for him. I don't think he would want to go anywhere else anyway. He has Jamar Chase, and that connection has continued to work in the league from college. So I'm all in on the Burrow taking this contract. I'm just don't know if I'm all in on the Bengals giving it. Maybe a 5 year,
Really?
6 year deal, but
For
not
Joe
a ten
Burrow?
year. Not a 10 year. I don't know if I'm giving 10 years.
It looks like you could push that up a year even too. So I was wrong. So he'll be 27 this year. Next
Mm-hmm.
year will be the 5th year option. So the Bengals obviously exercise that 5th year option, pay
Mm-hmm.
him 25 25 million. So he'll be 29 as an
Mm-hmm.
unrestricted free agent and
29. Wow.
29 years old before that'll be his first NFL contract. So what's I'm saying for Joe Burrow's perspective, if there's a possibility you could hit free agency 2 times, get a big paycheck once, and remember the quarterback market, we know how it escalates every offseason and how these guys get paid. Hitting it for a second time and trying to get another pay deal. If you're the Bengals and you can lock this guy down for 10 years and say, "Hey, our team is set. We have our guy. We know what we're going to do." And they brought in Orlando Brown this year already, so they have an offensive lineman there on the books. They've kind of have some pieces in place already for the long term. I think if you're a team and you can get your quarterback to commit for as long as possible, I personally think you do that. I like the way the Mahomes thing has played out, and if you have we'll say a Mahomes level impact guy, I think you have to follow suit if you're an organization and at least try to see if you could get him to do that. I don't know if Joe Burrow would do that, but from an organizational standpoint, I think commitment from your quarterback is a top priority.
That's interesting. So you're against it as Joe Burrow's side, and I'm against it as the organization side. So that's kind of interesting there. But
Undisputed. What is this?
yeah, I know. Go, Skip. Yeah, you gotta let me talk,
Scale,
Skip. Yeah, Skip.
scale.
But yeah, I mean that's interesting. I don't, 39-year-old quarterback. I don't, who knows? It's
I mean,
definitely.
if you do that and you go, hey, even if those last couple of years, like
You'll
if you're
probably
willing
have to
to say,
restructure it. Yeah.
yeah, if you're willing to say he may not be a peak level guy, but you're still what you got to pay 10 years of Joe Burrow for 8 for 6. I think just the commitment, the time, and maybe that's an 8. What do you want to do? An 8-year contract instead of a 10? Like
I
how
mean,
like
Mahomes might be just an outlier because he
how do
kind of
we
is an
and there
outlier.
is a there is a very very good there is a very very good chance that he is. I'm just saying if you're a front office, I would be interested in pursuing deals like that because of the stability that has given it to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like it's they're the model organization right now, and the way they run things are. I think teams should look at that and try to copy that as much as possible. I guess except for the punching the teammates, it's
Yeah,
already
I guess
starting to.
so.
It's fallen apart in Kansas City, so maybe I'm wrong, but I would
I mean,
still
but
be
it's
trying to
it's
model myself after them.
yeah, but I mean, we're starting to see like with the Patriots where if you have and arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, you can get away with a lot of stuff, get away with a lot of mistakes, and now
Exactly.
they don't have him, and it's kind of on full display. So with Joe Burrow, if it wasn't like every single year there's something, and with Mahomes there has been a little bit of that, but he wasn't really missing time. Like he was having like ankle stuff. His play dipped a bit, which made him just still above average to still, I mean, consistently winning. Even with the injuries, but there wasn't like serious ACL, out for the whole season stuff. And with Joe Burrow consistently having time missed, or not really time missed, but having an appendicitis, that's a little ticky tacky, but
It's not
still
really an
having that.
injury.
Yeah, exactly. But that having that ACL and then this with the calf is a little bit worrying, and those are injuries that just don't go away. I mean, the ankle one, that kind of heals itself. Ankles, we have all had our turn ankles and been fine, but those are with your calf and stuff like that. That's stuff that tends to pop up during the season, And I don't. It's and then his age as well. I mean, he did come into the league pretty old. I think they were mentioning already older than Lamar, stuff like that. And so committing to that as well, I don't know if you really want to give that long of a contract. How much you're paying him, that's you just give him the farm. You're not. I mean, who else are you going to give the money to? But in terms of length, is the main thing. I'd be like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years, but who knows? I guess we'll agree to disagree there.
I wouldn't do this with every guy either. Like Lamar's a
Yeah,
perfect example. I don't. In a, we said in the moment from the very beginning, pay Lamar what he's worth. But I don't know if I would offer Lamar a 10-year deal
yeah,
as a player. I don't. Yeah, I think the 5-year deal as the highest paid quarterback in the league for him is good. I don't think I would have ever offered Aaron Rodgers a 5-year deal. Josh Allen,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Joe Burrow is the only other quarterback in the league that I would actually offer that length of a deal to, but he is on the short list. Joe Burrow is on the short list. If you have a quarterback that great, I would just try to get that guy as committed as possible.
Yeah, well,
Anthony
another.
Richardson,
Hey, that one clip did look pretty cool. What was it? 60 yards? I don't know. I wonder if he can do throws while doing a flip. Who knows?